Hey, Ivan from the EV Stock Channel here. There's been a lot of talk that Tesla's European sales have been completely decimated. I'm hearing that the competition has arrived and that Tesla's market share is shrinking. Now, these may be juicy headlines, but what's really going on here? Well, let's have a look. But before we do, thank you to the Patreons that make these episodes possible, along with Bradford Ferguson from Halter Ferguson Financial. And note, all content discussed is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's get into it.
You see what happened in Europe, right? Before there was competition, Tesla dominated. Competition came in, their market share went from 33% to single digits. So the question is, what's going to happen globally as all these cars start to span out globally?
Is Gordon onto something here? When looking at Model 3 deliveries in Europe, we can see that Q2 of 2020 was the lowest number since Model 3 started European deliveries going all the way back to Q1 of 2019. To understand what happened in Q2, let's start off by looking at Tesla's production schedule, and we can see that during the first 6 weeks of the quarter, cars destined for Europe are made in the first few weeks of the quarter so that there is enough time to ship them from Fremont and deliver them to European customers. Now, during Q2, the first 6 weeks of the quarter, Fremont was shut down due to illness 19, which pretty much means your European production is screwed, because after you get into the second half of the quarter, the focus shifts to Model 3s for the North American market. However, if you're not aware of this fact, you can mistakenly look at Model 3 deliveries in Q2 and imply demand has fallen off a cliff, and that it must be due to competition finally showing up and eating up Tesla's market share, as our favorite short seller explains.
So if Tesla is truly, they're supply constrained and there's unlimited demand for their cars, then their market share should be growing, and it's not. It's imploding in Europe.
But if you dig deeper and work out what's actually going on, such as the Fremont factory being shut down exactly at the time European Model 3s were scheduled to be made, then the short seller's doomsday explanations don't seem to hold much weight. Another way to look at it is, even though Fremont was shut down during the time European Model 3s were scheduled for production, Tesla still delivered 12,000 Model 3s in Q2, which is just over half the quarterly average. So considering the circumstances, in my opinion, Q2 of 2020 was one heck of a quarter despite the circumstances. So now that we got that out of the way, how is Tesla tracking so far in Q3? Well, here is how the first 2 months of Q3 are looking in Europe compared to the first 2 months of every other quarter since the start of 2019, which is when Model 3 shipments started to arrive into Europe. And what do we see? A bounce back. That's right, Tesla is making up for lost time in Q3. And don't forget, most Model 3s will arrive in September, and based on the numbers we are seeing, I'm personally expecting a strong Q3. So where have most Model 3s been going so far? The answer is Germany, with over 2,800 Model 3s delivered, which is a new monthly record for monthly sales in Germany, which is of course Europe's largest auto market, so this is significant. And it's no surprise, with Giga Berlin making progress, Elon visiting Germany, the stock price soaring, Battery Day around the corner, there's been a lot of attention on Tesla, and sales numbers are starting to reflect that. And think about this, if demand for the Model 3 is strong now, Germans know they can simply wait and buy a cheaper German-made Model 3 in say 6 months' time, yet they're buying now. Now imagine what demand will be like once Giga Berlin opens. We saw the exact same thing happen in China last year, and now deliveries have been growing ever since production started at the Shanghai Gigafactory. And speaking of China, I just released a video showing how Tesla is on track to smash a new deliveries record in Q3. And since I've made that video, have a look at some of these images coming out from China with massive amounts of Model 3s piling up and being taken away to delivery centers around China. This is only making it more probable that China will smash Q3 delivery numbers, in my opinion. So in summary, European sales are not being decimated. Q2 was weaker than average, but that was due to the factory closure. Since then, we're seeing European deliveries make up for lost time, and with Germany leading the way so far. So that's a short update on what's happening in Europe. On a final note, a huge shout out to Marlon, our newest Patreon. And if you'd like to help me get more content and analysis out there, please consider supporting the show on Patreon, which will also give you access to some bonus content. So till next time, I'll catch you guys soon.